Hi, welcome back to the channel. This is part two of the introduction to the Corvette. There's probably about 4 or 5 seconds of overlap from the last video because I know you didn't want to miss any of my words of wisdom. Anyway, let's get back into it. To the body to support the pop-up headlights opening. And what happens on these, very common, is with age, water gets in there and the rivets start rusting. Well, as you know, when things rust, they expand. So things pop up and you get, looks like somewhere someone has put fiberglass over this. And here's the part that just flabbergasted me. For some reason, instead of contouring everything, they just put Bondo all over the top of it. And I actually sanded down the Bondo. I wish I might have pictures of it somewhere, but I don't remember. I was just so in the moment getting rid of all that Bondo. It was probably close to a 1/4 inch thick, and they were using it to contour the whole nose. And I don't know if the camera's picking it up, but they actually ground down, I guess, so that the Bondo wouldn't be quite so thick. Again, wasn't the prior owner, but somebody during its life did this. And yeah. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be drilling out these rivets, and then you take and chemically rebond the headlight support back on the nose, and that gets rid of the problem with the rivets rusting. And it's just a much cleaner look. But anyway, if you've got a C3 with little raised portions on your nose, that's what's going on. And you can see here some Bondo work was done. I'm going to be removing that also and repairing the crack that's on this. More Bondo work. I'm really not sure what's underneath there. Kind of afraid to find out, but I need to. But I won't be doing anything really major until I rebond the front end on it. And one of the things I have to do is go in and clean off any residue that's there. I know that for sure. And put everything back in its place. Onto the interior for a little bit. You can see the remnants of the saddle interior. I have put the handle for the parking brake back in, but I haven't hooked everything else back up. I'm kind of in the middle of that. And unfortunately, with the car being parked outside, mice decided to use my seats for some nest building material. Hindsight being what it is, I definitely would have tried to prevent that. I didn't realize it was a problem in my area. Anyway, you can see the tilt function, and you can also see the telescopic portion, which I just think is really cool. Especially if you've got someone who's a different height than you, they can adjust. Although not many people will be driving this. Here you can see the pedals, which I've got pictures of when I did a semi-restoration on it. As you can see, the dash is out, not very well lit there a little bit. And you see the hole for the air conditioning, which, yes, is going to be going back in. Sometime someone had painted this car maroon. Don't know why. But then again, it wasn't my car at that time, so that was their choice. But I don't know. If for some reason this thing were all together and painted Ontario orange, I wouldn't touch it. Orange is a decent color. It's just not ultimately black, since I'm going to build a car the way I want. But yeah, if it was orange, I'd leave it alone. My kids aren't really too into that. But I'm going to go ahead and open the garage door, try to get some light on things. I had closed the garage door earlier because the backlighting was messing up the video. Anyway, you can see the interior a little bit better. And you can see the dash is out. Oh, something else I wanted to comment on. The prior owner had he sprayed on what's called lizard skin, I believe is what it is. I don't know who makes it, but it's a heat and sound insulation material. And it's actually a really, see that divot there? I think what happened is when he was using a heat gun to unbond this, probably got distracted and pointed it in the wrong direction, and I don't know if I'm going to do anything about that. If I were to join the NCRS, I'm sure that I'd be kicked out for leaving that there, but I'm not totally sure on it yet. But there's the original hood, which sadly is actually in pretty good shape. If I can fit the intake manifold, I'll go ahead and keep it. I haven't decided yet. Oh, but anyway, here you can see where he had started filling in with fiberglass. Also the antenna hole. Now that one, I'm not sure why he did that, because I kind of like to have a radio. Maybe he was just going to do all iPod, which I have also. But I'm going to go ahead and remove that, and I'm going to be installing a power antenna eventually. And then, of course, I am going to have the provisions put back in for the luggage rack. Again, some guys don't do it, and that's fine. I do like the look of the deck with it all. That's a nice expanse to really show off any work you've done on the car. But here's the rear end. Thankfully, not a whole lot's been done to it. Well, now looking at it closer, looks like some fiberglass work was done. I want to check that. Don't want that delaminating. And hopefully I can show you underneath here. The prior owner had done excellent work, and any rust you see is from me storing it outside. When I got it, this thing was pristine. So again, hindsight, but you can see the nice calipers he had rebuilt and painted. And all the suspension and everything was installed. The only thing I did install was the rear sway bar, which I got with the car, so went ahead and put that on. But he also installed a composite leaf spring, which I would have definitely done too, so I'm really happy about that. But yeah, this just shows the good work that he did do beforehand. Again, just got interrupted. It was actually really nice, because I know so many people on the web pick up a car and whoever did it before had just done what it took to sell the thing, and that's not the case here. You can see it had gotten sanded down to the bonding strips, which, again, if I was in CRS, you'd keep those visible, but I'm going to be filling them in, smoothing it out. One of the things I will be doing in a later episode is the doors aren't adjusted very well. And of course I need them lined up perfectly with the rest of the body before I do any bonding on the front end, because that's how I'll be, one of the points I'll be using to line it up. Different shot of the interior. You can see the lizard skin a little easier all over. And if you've ever owned one of these before, which I haven't, but I've heard all kinds of horror stories about heat buildup. So I'm going to be installing some sheets of insulation also underneath the factory style insulation. We'll be covering that in a later episode. Now, here's one of the things my mentor has recommended that I just replace this fender, and I'm not against it, except for it's going to be about $1,000. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and try and repair it. Now, if it doesn't work out, I'll chalk it up as a learning experience and go ahead and replace the fender. As you can see, I don't know if there was a tire blowout or something in its life. I don't know. But this here is needing to be rebuilt. And that's actually the most amount of fiberglass work I'll have to do. I don't know. I'll see. And also up here. And this is probably due to accident damage. Maybe the piece in back is, but you can get a little better idea on how loose everything here. Sorry, going upside down. Hopefully I'm not messing you guys up. The camera isn't showing it very well, but this needs to be bonded to the fender, and it's not. It's just free flowing. Huh. Didn't see that before. So mainly we'll be doing some, at least bonding the front end back on while the weather supports it. You can see beautiful job on detailing with the frame. I did install the master cylinder and the power brake booster. These lines were all in a box, but they were all brand new, and he bought quality stuff. Again, I'm really happy. Oh, a little bit about the frame too, which leads me to believe there was accident damage. He had mentioned when I was talking to him on the phone years ago that he had the frame straightened out while he had it all stripped out, and it was bent. I think in this front corner, passenger side. And while he had it, he went ahead and had all of the modifications done to it that is recommended by Chevy Power. It's a book that Chevrolet put out that essentially helped you build your car. Sorry, putting it back in the... And it's backlit, so I'm sorry, but it's really hot in the garage, so it does help. The Chevy Power was a book that was put out. Well, there was another cliffhanger. Don't worry, part 3 is on its way, and we'll find out what the Chevy Power book is. Again, thank you for watching, and I appreciate your patience.